Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Monday, March 7th, 2016. Phil and Ra here in the Lynn-Life, Walks with Lions in the Jamie Body Mind, other teammates in other dimensions, most of us in the subatomic and most of us in the physical. We've been working all morning with the messages that seem to be for higher souls of the presences who were involved in the plot to murder Ra. And they can see that their karmic counters are still running, that the bad karma that they incurred with that series of events that culminated in that plot to murder Ra, the bad karma is still ticking. There's that woodpecker back on the soffit. That is metal. That's metal.
True. That's not wood.
And we've received messages. There are 4 white pelicans circling our house. They are rare. That's a good thing. And there's a woodpecker who is up underneath the eave on metal, and he's completely delusional. And game theory would say that the 4 who are circling are higher souls of Asha and Black Wolf, and the Ra we refer to as Carter and Betty Jean, and that Ulysses' higher soul is being represented by that poor deluded woodpecker.
That's true. Totally deluded.
A leaf just fell right into my hand, my upward-facing palm.
Whoa.
As always, our intention is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions, to manifest the divine plan. With that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin. What do I know? I know that we have observed a pattern occurring for more than a year now, and it took us a long time to recognize that it was a pattern, but we now recognize the pattern where we have a teammate who's really going strong, doing very well, and then seemingly inexplicably that person is good for absolutely nothing and rapidly becomes a hazard on the course.
That's true.
And it happened most recently, I think it was just yesterday. With Bat, who shifted dimensions to work with our loose.
That's true.
And we even commented on how solid he felt.
That's true.
The good, helpful alignment. And then literally within hours, he was good for absolutely nothing. And
was a hazard.
And was a hazard on the course.
That's true.
And, of course, the same thing happened with Black Wolf in the, quote, Black Wolf experiment.
That's true.
We connected the dots and then felt for the bat experiment and discovered, lo and behold, there was a bat experiment that was conducted yesterday.
That's true.
And then we realized, well, if it's true for Black Wolf and it's true for bat, possibly it's true for Asha. And then we feel for the Asha experiment that was conducted almost exactly a year ago.
That's true.
To the day.
That's true.
And it's huge and enormous, and that's what knocked Asha out of commission for 6 months and made her a hazard on the course to the point that she was willing to participate in a plot to murder Ra.
That's true.
And there it is, and that bad karma clock is still ticking to the perpetrators of all of these experiments. And in addition to those 3 experiments, what else do I know? We feel for the experiment to do with that Ra known as Carter.
Yeah.
And there it is, and it's pretty big.
Heavy. That's true.
And we feel for the Betty Jean experiment, and there it is.
There it is.
It's not as big as the Carter experiment, but it's there. And then we feel for the Ulysses experiment. It feels dark and deep
really
and
dark
ugly.
Ugly.
And so all of these presences who have been top contributors to the Search for Truth efforts have all been monkeyed with, presumably by their own higher souls, presumably in some attempt to avoid responsibility, because that's usually what's going on.
That's true. And that would also fit into the messages of the last couple of days.
It would. It would fit into the messages of, I can't possibly be responsible for this mess.
That's true. Some mythical person must be responsible.
Yes.
It can't be me.
It can't be me.
That's true.
Live streaming up. What else do I know? I know that when we point out to these presences that we intend to connect with the experimenters, all who caused these experiments to occur.
That's true.
And we show them their karmic counter, where the bad karma is just clicking away, click, 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 click. They acknowledge that, and that's refreshing, that they're not arguing that they are accruing bad karma.
That's true.
And that they're continuing to accrue bad karma because they haven't made remediation. They haven't corrected their error and made it right.
Right, that's true.
They made a mistake, and that's going to happen. We are error-making machines. Presences of sentience are error-making machines.
That's true.
Really, nobody upstairs cares that we're making mistakes. What they care about is that we acknowledge them right away and make it right, correct them, make restitution. And that is what has not occurred, and these presences kind of freak about that, and they just want to shift one chair to the right and pretend that that's making restitution, but then we direct their gaze to the karmic counter that's still just racking up bad karma.
Yeah.
So that's obviously not handling it, and we know that we show them the approach tunnel and the front door and say our front door is always open. You have to enter through the deep subatomic, but they don't seem to want to stoop to that. That's their words, not ours, or their thoughts. They're not saying it, but that's how
true.
they're feeling. What else do I know? I know that this divine plan isn't going to manifest without a working divine delivery system engaged in the process.
That's true.
And that if they don't want to come in and participate in the search for truth efforts by becoming familiar with the rules and versed in the protocols, then they could perhaps mitigate some of their bad karma by just going straight up, finding a working divine delivery system and finding a way to connect it down to where we can reach it. Become part of the tube, become part of the straw through which the winds of source blow.
That's true.
And bring it down to this level, and we can bring it down into the smaller and smaller and smaller subatomic levels through our team efforts here.
Oh, it's kind of like what we've been demonstrating in Thing 1, where Dunbar is kind of the tube, and Joseph reaches up from below, and the conductor reaches down from above and creates a connection through which the wind can flow.
Yes, we can be the connection here at this level.
Yes.
And if you can get all the way down to truth that will propel all of us forward on our soul plans, it will work. And all you actually have to do is get it to within our reach.
That's true.
And we can connect with it. But right now, all we find, even right now, feeling for them, are those cobwebby, spiderwebby things that show there was once a working divine delivery system. What do I know? I know that this shows that it can be done.
That's true.
To have a working divine delivery system, and having done it the first time was the tough part, and so it can be recreated again, but it has to come from the top down as well as from the bottom up. We are reaching up. That is what we are doing, is building a pillar taller, 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 taller.
That's true.
All you guys have to do is bridge the gap between a working divine delivery system and the top of our pillar, which you seem to be able to reach very easily, because you guys are pitching things in here all the time.
That's true.
That we don't want. So quite clearly you can access the top of our pillar, so just find a working divine delivery system, which you should want to find for yourselves, right?
That's true. Even with purely selfish motives, that would help you.
That's right.
That's true.
Connect to it, and connect it to the top of our pillar, and voila, problem solved.
Problem solved.
Possibly that would be enough to at least stop the negative karma from racking up, and possibly run the clock backward on some of that negative karma.
I think that's true.
That's our recommendation to you.
Yeah.
Now, we assume they aren't going to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Right? To these amateur videographers, are you guys getting this? Merge back to back. Having the intention to burn that which is untrue, and now let's burn our experiences of sentience. That feels great. Merge back to back. I see Garth. He looks so sad.
That's true.
He just wants his fantasy Asha to be real. Garth, we all want that, but there's no point in wishing for a fantasy. What's real is still real. We don't have to like it. And you're carrying on like that. Can you see how it makes you look? How long have you known Asha? How long has Luce known Asha?
A very long time.
How long has the Lynn-Life known Asha? And what level of familiarity have they had with Asha as compared to the reasonably light level of familiarity you have had with Asha? You have been a co-worker of Asha's for maybe a year.
Right around a year, actually.
Right around a year.
Exactly a year.
Almost exactly a year. And in this effort, that's a long time.
That's true.
And so we acknowledge that in this effort, that's a close relationship. But now let's put it into context.
That's true. Put it into perspective.
Yes. And are you ready to quit rolling around on the floor and sucking your thumb like a baby and gut it up and work? Luce is. The Lynn-Life is. Quit being a baby. Grumpy response.
Grumpy.
Okay, so the answer is no. He's not ready to give it up and quit being a baby. He wants to keep being a baby. Okay. Oh my.
What is it?
I haven't felt for a COSA experiment. Let's find the COSA experiment. There it is.
There it is. It's right there.
The COSA experiment right here. Well, let's feel for the Luce experiments. Oh, there they are.
That's true. They feel different than the others.
They do. But they are there.
They're there.
The person who is saying that the experiments of Luce were different, it's like we can find differences and we can find similarities. Yes, that's a blue saucer and the other saucer was pink, but they're both saucers.
That's true.
Let's look at the bigger commonality rather than the minute differences.
That's true.
That's somebody who's trying to distract. That's a red herring. Whoever sent in that channeled message, that person is actively unhelpful. That's a red herring. I see it. I see the red herring. Do you?
Yes.
And we see how many of you have like multiple marks on your ticket.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you've been betting on multiple races.
Yes. So those of you who have double dipped or triple dipped or quadruple dipped or more, you really need to consider remediative action right now. Make restitution. Find that working divine delivery system and connect it up, like with pipe fittings, into the top of the Search for Truth pillar. They're definitely connecting something. That's not a working divine delivery system.
That's true. That's something else.
No, that's something else. Now look at your karmic counter. Look how it's going. So that's a bad move. Why don't you undo that? That's actively unhelpful.
That's true.
Actively unhelpful. Change isn't the same as progress.
That's true.
Here's one thing that we have found to be very useful is when we are considering taking an action, we conduct a thought experiment. Keep your eye on your karmic counter and say, all right, I think you want me to connect these two pipes together. This is the direction in which I'm heading, and see whether the karmic counter backs up, erasing your bad karma, or spins forward, racking up bad karma even faster.
That's true.
And maybe here's what you need to really swallow is that karmic counter shows that you are racking up bad karma.
That's true.
Bad karma.
That's
now,
true.
You might not want to acknowledge that. You might want to pretend that it's racking up good karma.
Oh, that's true.
And that might go a long way toward explaining why you've been so resistant to making restitution. That's bad karma. Feel it. Feel it for yourself. Compare it to someone who you know is racking up bad karma.
Oh, that's helpful.
And see what direction they're spinning and what direction your meter is spinning. Just check the karmic counter meters. And be sure you find someone who you know is racking up bad karma, because as far as I can tell, there aren't a lot of people racking up good karma right now.
That's true.
That's the problem. That's what's under the Band-Aid. I don't want to live my soul plan, and you can't make me, and that racks up a lot of bad karma.
That's true.
So find someone you're sure is racking up bad karma. Look at Donald Trump.
Yes, that's it.
There you go. Is your karmic counter spinning in the same direction as Donald Trump's? Look, this guy's about to have a heart attack. Yes, that's right.
That's true.
Your karmic counter is spinning in the same direction as Donald Trump's. Okay.
That's true.
Find that working divine delivery system. For real, not for pretend. I think that might explain a lot. They were just having wishful thinking about what direction their karmic counter was spinning. That could be why they've been so resistant to changing course.
That would make sense.
It would. All right.
That's true.
So now find whoever the CEO of Monsanto is and look at that karmic counter. There you go. See,
Like
his
that.
karmic counter is spinning in that
That's
direction.
true.
Donald Trump's karmic counter is spinning in that direction.
The
Find
CEO of Nestle.
CEO of Nestle.
Yeah.
Find board members of big pharma companies. There you go. Find the people who are bribing the Supreme Court justices.
And then you can see a pattern.
There you go. You see the pattern, and now put your karmic counter in the. Yes, see.
Yeah, there we
They're
go.
all
That makes sense
synchronized in
now.
harmony. They're all racking up bad karma.
Now it
you
makes
are
sense.
too. There you go.